Welcome to Deadly Departed. The do's, don'ts, and dangers of afterlife communication. This show discusses all aspects of afterlife communication, grief and grieving, the paranormal, and of course, parapsychology. There's real stories, scientific discussion, and most of all, real learning from paranormal experts and researchers. Here's your host, author of Deadly Departed, renowned evidential medium and spirit interventionist, Jock Brokus.
Okay, welcome ladies and gentlemen. This is Jock here, the author of Deadly Departed, and what we're going to be talking about today is the story that's been hitting the news lines with the Irish Bishop Alphonsus, I think his name is Cullinan, who is setting up a team of lay exorcists, if you will, to deal with the cases of demonic possession that seems to be coming in from people dealing with reiki and all other sorts of modalities and healing and things. And so what I want to do today is talk about why he's got it right and why he's got it wrong. And this kind of boils down to, he's got a point in terms of the dangers that are associated, but it's not tied down to just reiki or anything, dealing with psychic awareness or psychic training or opening yourself up with your intuition or even through meditation or any other healing modality that is out there. He's right in the fact that there is actual dangers, and here's the problem. It is nothing whatsoever to do with Reiki. It is nothing whatsoever to do with any other modality or healing modality out there. One of the things that you've got to recognize is that healing in itself is a direct opposition to anything that's particularly evil. I can't see in my own mind why anything evil would want to heal anything. So there's that there, and to actually say that Reiki is where people are getting possessed, it's nothing to do with Reiki. It goes back to the same problem, and it's lack of education and ignorance on the dangers of the afterlife or ignorance on the dangers of the other side. While we keep delving into the things that excite us, the ghost hunting, the ghost stories, the dealing with Ouija boards, dealing with the occult, studying about it, you're crossing the cavern or you're crossing a bridge in the other world, and you're crossing into a bridge which is in an area that you've never really, you're not an expert in it. There's no experts really in afterlife. I've always maintained that we're all afterlife researchers. But this is where, like I said, this is where he's got it right. He's got it right because, yes, there is dangers, and yes, there is possibilities that possessions and things can happen. There was a great book in the past called Dancing with the Devil by David. I can't remember the actual name. I'll need to look that up. But a guy called David something or another. I will find that information. Actually, just hold a second here and I'll see if I can actually find it. Yeah, it's David Ashworth. I knew I had the book somewhere, but this, he goes into all the dangers and etc. that may be associated with Reiki. Now, here's with Reiki and other things like that, but here's the problem. The problem is in the ignorance and the laziness of the individuals that are practicing. And also, even from a patient's point of view, or from the point of view of people within that vicinity. You see, like I've maintained in my book, Deadly Departed, not taking the requisite precautions, which includes understanding things from an educational point of view, from understanding not only theory, practice, but from your own divine perception, your divine growth, is very, very important. But unfortunately, in many, many occasions, people get lazy with it, and they don't do their protections, or they don't take the precautions. They're not watching what's going through their mind. They're not watching their own thought processes. They create their own portals within themselves and external to themselves, because there is an inherent laziness about them when it comes down to doing that work. Now, this is why he's got it right, because he's saying that it's the issue is that these accesses from, say, demonic interference, or from grounded spirits, from obsessive spirits, are happening because, there's a lot more in this modern day, but it's not down to Reiki. It's definitely not. So Bishop, if you're listening, come on, it's not down to Reiki. And you can't, from all the history that we have in the Catholic faith and Catholicism, even at one point when they changed the Ritual Romanum, an addition that was made to make room for the understanding of mental illness. Unfortunately, when it comes down to religion, and especially within the Catholic religion, I won't say we, because I'm not on that side, but you or other, shall we say, priests and people of that faith tend to mock what they don't understand, and they think that the Catholic Church is the be-all and end-all when it comes down to understanding the comparisons of the evil in nature, or evil spirits, or demonic. Now, whilst I do tip my hat, and I take my hat off to the fact that the Catholic Church has done a lot to make us aware, and has done a lot to make us understand demonology from that perspective, it goes further back. And by saying that Reiki is one of these problems, which clearly a healing modality that was there to heal, and if you go, you actually look and study the tenets of Reiki from back, Usui, Dr. Usui, who was the Reiki master, there is a tremendous amount of divine light within that. There is really, it is not an evil thing. You can perceive that just from the whole understanding of his life, and how he healed, and how he prayed, and how he meditated. Something that's in opposition to good wouldn't do that. But the problem here, and whilst he may have got it right, is that Reiki then has now become a business, rather than like a vocation, or which it was to heal people many days. It has now become more of a materialistic view, a materialistic point of attraction, and therefore there is a lot of laziness and a lot of no preparation. I remember back in the days when I studied Reiki, you did your 21 days cleansing, but you really, really had to do your 21 days cleansing. You had to, certainly for me, I monitored my thought processes and everything over those period of times. I kept a journal. I really worked on myself. But nowadays you can go online, become a Reiki master in a day. You can go on a course and become, even become a medium in a day. And these are the problems. And so, the bishop's got it right. There are dangers out there that make us more attracted to evil spirits and negative spirits, and they find a way in through our own laziness, and that is lack of preparation. Along with this lack of preparation is you can know as much theory as you want, but if you don't put it into practice, and this means watching your mind, your thought processes, your spiritual life, and your prayerful life, etc. And everything in this life has become add water and mix. Add water and mix. Hey, presto, you become a medium. Add water and mix. Hey, you're a professional at this. You're a professional photographer. You are a professional magician. You go on a course, you do something. That's it. And so we tend to, gone are the days where we actually look at things as vocations. We look at things of what can actually bring us monetary value. And unfortunately that's happened in mediumship as well. And certainly within all of these different practices, whether even it's Wiccan or whether it's other types of healing, and there's so many different names for healing modalities out there, it becomes a completely materialistic point of attraction for people. They don't really do it through their vocation, they do it through, maybe necessity or easy for to make money. And again, where he's got it right is we have so many increased issues with the other side crossing over negatively, so be it through dabbling in Ouija boards, witchcraft, occult practices, etc., etc. And that's not down to the actual Ouija board or anything like that. It's down to the person, and it's down to the intention, and it's down to the build-up of that energy and the build-up of everything that surrounds them. And the problem that you have is the more intense something gets, or the more exciting it seems, or the more bites you get on your fishing line, at one point you're going to catch something really good, or you could catch something really bad. You could go out looking for a salmon and get a pike, or you could go out looking for a swordfish and come up with a shark. You just don't know what's there. So you have to be very careful. Unfortunately, we don't. So really what actually happens then is that people then get so ingrained into their circles or their healing, and they go on courses and they learn, and they're taught by the teachers to protect themselves, or they're taught by the teachers to say prayers, etc. The actual symbols within Reiki really themselves have no power. It's the intention and the focus behind them and why you're doing them. Again, if you take shortcuts and your intention there is to open yourself up to the other side so that you can channel healing, and you've not really reached the vibration that can actually do that or channel that energy, of course, you're going to open yourself up, and you could potentially, open yourself up a portal, a gateway, or anything like that. And so, the bishop's right in that side of things, but like I said, it's not. The Catholic Church is so out of balance on pointing fingers at what causes demonic possession. There are so many unknown factors that we don't understand, and a great deal of things that they say are in actual fact brilliant examples of fantastic mediumship. Now, the rite in itself, something that is purely evil is totally opposite to anything that is good. So you cannot, an evil disposition, a malevolent force, cannot cloak itself in light, because the light extinguishes the darkness. And so to say that a particular healing modality or a particular belief system is wrong and causes the demonic possession, that's a little bit egotistical, and that's very egotistical for the Catholic Church to say that. It's not quite true, and it's wrong to point the fingers that way. When we look at exorcisms, or we look at the historical facts of malevolent forces in the world, the Catholic Church is not the only one to experience it. Yes, they have a great deal of evidence. Yes, they have a great deal of know-how, because they've put so many resources and things into it. But let's face it, it's not the be-all and end-all of everything. There's modalities that go back further than even the Catholic Church. And in all indigenous tribes and lifestyles, there is elements of malevolent force and belief systems, and many belief systems, and they have their own way of doing things. What is lacking is more than anything else, rather than setting up a team of exorcists or lay exorcists that are totally bound by